Activated Storyteller's 25th podcast, December 7th, 2006.
This week's story is Rapunzel. It's a Grimm Brothers tale.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Zephyr.
And together we are
the Activated Storytellers.
This week we are coming to you from San Francisco, California. In fact, we are parked right here at Fort Mason. We've got a great view of the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz Island. We took a bike ride today from Fort Mason down to the piers and then took a boat ride over to Alcatraz and did a little tour there.
Yes, we tried biking all the way to Alcatraz, but didn't quite make it. This was the first time that Zephyr and I have been to Alcatraz. Kimberly went before. But it was our first. I lived in San Francisco for 15 years and never went to Alcatraz. Finally made it, and it's a really fascinating little peek into history.
What I liked is this time they had audio tours. Self-guided, you just put the earphones on, and they don't even charge extra for that, and you get to walk around the prison cells, and really some good stories, interesting facts that they have about the prison there at Alcatraz.
Yeah, I thought the audio tours were kind of cool, but one of the interesting things that I liked was the cells on the D block, solitary confinement cells, where you could actually, they had a park ranger staying there, and you could actually walk into one of them and have the door closed on you and know what it was like to be in solitary confinement.
For about 2 minutes, yeah. We actually went in it, and it is pitch black, and also interesting because I think we all got a little dizzy, a little vertigo being in the solitary confinement cell.
Yes, one of the experts on Alcatraz is a woman who lived on Alcatraz as a child, and this is someone that we actually used to know. In fact, she booked us to do a show once during our first year in business here in San Francisco, and also I used to work for her brother, and they both lived on Alcatraz as children. A lot of people may not realize this, but when Alcatraz was in operation as a prison, the families of the prison, the guards and warden and so on would live there on Alcatraz. So they spent part of their childhood there. And in fact, their father was an official there, and he was a warden for one day. And that one day happened to be the day of the famous escape in 1962.
Well, Alcatraz kind of has a reputation for being inescapable, but that was not exactly the case.
Well, there were several attempts, but they do not have any documented cases of prisoners actually making it off the island. There are some cases where prisoners left, and they're not quite sure where they ended up. They don't know if they survived or not.
My favorite attempted escape story was where the prisoners would frequently have to do the laundry, and so one of the prisoners who was doing the military's laundry took the idea to take pieces of military suits until he had his own complete military suit, and then he marched on the boat with the military guys. But what he didn't realize was that the boat was not going to San Francisco, it was going over to Angel Island instead. And pretty quick someone noticed that he was missing, and they realized what happened, so they actually had people meet him over at Angel Island and turn around, marched right back on the boat, and brought him over back to Alcatraz.
He didn't make it far.
Also on hand today was a former inmate at Alcatraz. He's written a book about the experience. He was in Alcatraz until 1963, I believe.
Right, which is when they closed it, and his name was Darwin.
Darwin Coon. And then he went on and he served, I believe, 9 more years at another prison, and then he was paroled, and he was on hand today promoting his book.
Right, so we got his picture and it just looked like anybody's grandpa. Looked like a nice old guy. Kind of hard to believe that he has served hard time and served it on Alcatraz. He was, I believe, in prison for bank robbery.
Yes, and actually there are, if I recall correctly, 4 former inmates who are involved in promoting Alcatraz now as a tourist attraction, as authors and as commentators on the films that they show in Alcatraz and on the part of the audio tour as well. You know, when we took that audio tour, it sounded to me like the way they talk to you on the audio, it makes you feel like a prisoner. They say, okay, turn down this hall, do this. Okay, now walk along the wall there.
What made me feel like a prisoner was walking in and having them hand you the audio equipment. I don't know, for some reason that just kind of struck me as being handed your uniform and told to march. We also, like I said, we did take a little bike ride through San Francisco. We got to go down Pier 39, and we saw Ghirardelli Square today, and we're sipping our hot chocolate.
And unfortunately, Ghirardelli Square is not made of chocolate.
No, but there's lots of chocolate shops there.
There's chocolate shops in it, but it's not a chocolate square.
And we got to see the sea lions at the pier, Pier 39 sea lions.
The sea lions were out in force today, quite a few of them. They were barking more vociferously than I've ever heard them bark before. We didn't see any street performers today. You can usually see street performers at Pier 39. There was once upon a time, when we actually did a performance at Pier 39 ourselves. This was during our first year of business, when we didn't really know better than to do these outside shows. And we always laugh about this show because we were in the middle of the performance and a wedding party walked right through our little stage.
I will never forget that. We're in the middle of a story, and all of a sudden a wedding party, bridal dresses, gowns, walking right through the show. Oh, crazy. And since we did go to Alcatraz Island today, we're thinking of, what would be an appropriate story to tell? We came up with Rapunzel.
Once upon a time, there was a poor couple who lived out in the woods, and the wife was expecting a child. Now, near their house, there lived an old sorceress who had a beautiful garden. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, coriander, marjoram, oregano, pumpernickel. No, never mind. Oh, and of course, one called Rapunzel. The woman stood at her window and looked out upon the garden, and she started to crave some of the greens from the garden.
Oh, dear. Dear, you see that garden over there? Oh, how I crave some Rapunzel.
Rapunzel? I don't know if I've ever had any Rapunzel.
Oh, I wish I had some. If I could get it at the store, I'd just go down to the store and buy some. But you go get me some of that.
Now, dear, I know you have these strange cravings. It was only last week that you were asking for crab and grape. Perhaps some green onions.
No, I want Rapunzel.
Oh, very well. I'll tell you what, I will go ask if our neighbor will give us some.
Well, you better hurry along, because I want it now.
All right.
Yes?
I hate to bother you, but, my wife really craves some Rapunzel from your garden. Could she have some by any chance?
My precious Rapunzel. Why do you want my precious Rapunzel?
Look, I don't have much money, but there must be something I can give you for your Rapunzel.
Absolutely not. It's my precious Rapunzel. My precious.
Oh, well, I tell you what. If she won't give me some, I'll just sneak over the wall tonight and get my own. Heh, heh, heh.
Dear, where's my Rapunzel? I want some so badly. I don't think I can carry on if I don't have any Rapunzel.
Well, now, it won't be ripe until about midnight, so just wait a little while longer and you'll have some.
Oh, dear.
So that night he climbed over the wall and sneaked some Rapunzel and...
What are you doing, my precious Rapunzel?
I just came to help you pick up some weeds out of the garden.
No, must not touch the precious.
Oh, you see, my wife is expecting a child, so she's really craving this Rapunzel. I'm afraid if she doesn't get it, she'll be sick.
A child? You didn't mention a child. Well, I suppose she may have some after all.
Oh, thank you. That's very, 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 very kind of you.
But on one condition.
Uh-oh, fine print.
When the child is born, I get to keep him, or her, or it.
Oh, my. That's a very difficult bargain. Okay, but I guess I can tell my wife that it just was stolen or something. All right, it's a deal.
Yes.
So the husband got the Rapunzel and took it back to his wife, and she was happy.
Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Oh, thank you, dear. I'll make some salad. Oh, dear.
Yes?
I want more Rapunzel.
Well, I think I can get some, but I wouldn't start sewing any baby clothes if I were you. And so the child was born, a girl. The old sorceress took her away and named her Rapunzel.
Yes, my precious Rapunzel.
And the child grew up as the daughter of the sorceress, and when she was 12 years old, the sorceress locked her up in a tower. And the only way to get up into the tower was by Rapunzel's long, long locks of hair, which she would lower out the window.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Oh, yes, Mother. Here you go.
Very long and dangerous climb to be tower. Must be careful, very careful.
Hi, Mother.
Hello, my precious.
Mother, why am I in a tower? It's awfully lonely up here.
Gotta go, bye.
Well, the years passed, and Rapunzel grew to be a grown woman. And then one day, along came a prince, and he walked under the tower and said, "Oh my, is it snowing? Oh no, that's just a lot of dandruff. Where could it be coming from? Up there, from the tower window? Oh my, that beautiful young woman in the tower."
Sing as long as my hair, la 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 la.
And she's a composer, too. Oh, my. I must marry her. I don't know why, but I must. Oh, someone is coming. I better hide in the bushes.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Yes, Mother.
So that's how you get up there. I was afraid I'd have to say open sesame or something. So he waited until the old woman left, and then he said, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair."
Yes, Mother.
Thank you, dear.
You're not my mother.
No, I am a prince who wants to marry you.
Okay. Anything to get out of this tower.
But I don't know how we're going to get you down. I don't have a ladder this high, and you can't very well climb down your own hair, now can you?
I have an idea. Every night come to me and bring me some silk threads. From this, I will make a ladder, and eventually I'll have one that is long enough to climb down.
That sounds like a very lengthy project. I suppose it's a good way to test our commitment. Very well, I shall do so. But before they completed the ladder, the old sorceress discovered what they were up to.
My precious Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Yes, Mother.
There we are. Now I'll just take this dagger
Dagger?
and off with your hair.
Mother, what are you doing? My hair! No, Mother, why?
Once the hair was off, then Rapunzel could go down the hair, and that's what she did, along with the sorceress, who took her away to a cabin in the woods, far, far away from where anyone could find her.
Here, now you'll live out in the woods, out in my Uncle Tom's cabin.
And then the sorceress herself climbed back up the hair and waited for the prince. La-da-da-da-da! Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Yes, my dear.
Up I go, up I go, up. Ah, here I am, my dear.
Now I've got you.
What? And she pushed the prince off. Ah! And he fell into the thorns, and he was blinded. So he wandered around through the forest until, finally, he stumbled upon the cabin. That voice, it sounds familiar. Can it possibly be? La, 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 la.
My prince?
Yes, 'tis I.
Oh, how I've missed you.
And she cried, and 2 of her tears fell upon his eyes. And they were healed. He could see again. Rapunzel, it is you, with a new hairstyle.
You like it?
I do. I don't have to worry about tripping over it anymore. And so, of course, they were married and lived happily ever after.
And that's the story of Rapunzel. Kind of have that motif of being locked away, and I guess we were, like I said, inspired by the trip to Alcatraz today.
Now, there's one more thing we want to do before we leave San Francisco, and that is bike across the Golden Gate Bridge. We've never done that.
Right. In fact, we're just about ready to get on our bikes and go at it. So we'll be doing that. And I want to remind you, we've got some shows coming up. We have a show in Palo Alto, December 20th at 3:30 at the library. Next public show will be January 17th in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. And the one after that for public shows will be March 10th, and that will be in Prattville, Alabama. So if you're in any of those locations, you're lucky. You get to see us perform live.
That's it for this week. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, my precious.
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you, read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.